Right now, international oil prices are climbing and major shipping routes are paralyzed. Markets are reacting to the sudden possibility of a sustained disruption in one of the world's most sensitive regions. This is the Strait of Hormuz. It serves as the primary artery for global energy transit, and it is the exact site of the current escalation. The crisis began when U.S. warships intercepted a massive cargo vessel. After the crew reportedly ignored multiple warnings, the U.S. Navy opened fire to disable the ship's engines before seizing full control. The vessel was identified as the Iran Ardebil, a massive supply ship carrying a full load of containers through the strait. The use of kinetic force in such a volatile choke point has created an immediate fear that a localized naval boarding could be the catalyst for a broader conflict. However, this interception was the physical extension of a collapse at the negotiating table that occurred just days prior, far from the water. Days before the seizure, the focus of the crisis was here, in Islamabad. For 21 hours, American and Iranian diplomats engaged in a marathon session. The stated goal of the meeting was to reach a deal that would prevent an outbreak of hostilities. Those talks ended abruptly, with no agreement. Both sides traded blame. Iran cited extreme American demands, while the U.S. claimed Iran refused to accept basic terms. Initiating a live-fire naval operation immediately after a diplomatic failure appears to be a deliberate escalation. The seizure suggests that the ship was not a separate issue from the failed talks, but a tool of leverage designed to dictate the terms of the next negotiation. The tactical execution was aggressive. When the Ardebil refused to change course or respond to U.S. signals, the Navy moved into an interception posture. By disabling the ship's engines and boarding the vessel, the Navy demonstrated its ability to take full control of a target, even under the threat of retaliation. This action serves a strategic purpose. It publicly proves that the U.S. has the capability and the will to interrupt Iranian supply lines at any time. This removes the assumption of security for Iranian commercial traffic. Their fleets must now operate with the knowledge that their transit through international waters depends on American consent. It is a calculated demonstration of oversight. Washington has signaled that it can effectively monitor and halt Iranian lifelines whenever a diplomatic impasse occurs. The official reasoning for the seizure focuses on the unverified contents of the Ardebil shipping containers. Reports indicate the ship was carrying dual-use cargo. This refers to equipment that can be used for civilian infrastructure or adapted for military applications. If the cargo was confirmed to be military-linked, the seizure acts as a preemptive strike, a defensive move to neutralize a potential threat before it can be deployed. But if the cargo is revealed to be civilian, the seizure shifts into the realm of strategic extortion. In this scenario, Washington is using the ship as a hostage to force Iran back to the table. They are compelling Tehran to negotiate from a position of immediate economic and logistical loss. The ambiguity of the cargo is the most effective part of the strategy. It provides the U.S. with the plausible deniability needed to use a single ship as a weapon of diplomatic pressure. The seizure of the Ardebil suggests that military force is no longer a final option, but a functional component of the diplomatic process. Any future talks will likely be less about finding common ground and more about the exercise of raw leverage. This creates a binary path. Either the U.S. successfully forces Iran to accept new terms, or Iran is incentivized to launch its own kinetic retaliations to restore its maritime security. If this high-pressure approach fails to produce a diplomatic breakthrough, the resulting conflict is unlikely to remain restricted to naval supply lines. Analysts are now watching the next round of talks to see if this tactic forces a resolution or triggers a broader retaliatory cycle. Subscribe now, as the next update on this standoff will define the trajectory of the crisis.